Thank you for tuning in, humans. It's Craelan here. Today we're playing The Junk Drawer, which is a game made for the Have You Been Game Jam that itch.io held. It's by J. Carr something. I'm sorry, developer, I forgot your full name. But they have been writing for a long time. This is their first game of any kind, though. So let's get started. You open the junk drawer. The contents scrape the insides. You feel things being turned over, dragged to the back, buried deep. The drawer resists. You give it a shake, a firm pull, and it opens up. What were you looking for again? Your spare set of keys, a rubber band, two AA batteries, these coins, those coins from your trip abroad. Never mind. We'll just start in order. You rummage through the junk drawer for your spare set of keys. You don't find them. You find a different key instead. A small key. Tiny, in fact, in the shape of an old-fashioned skeleton key, but the size of your fingernail. The fake bronzing has chipped off here and there, the metal underneath tarnished green. A piece of frayed ribbon is tied through the hole in the key's bow. You recall what this key opens immediately. It opens the diary you gave your son when he was younger. Do you have time to find the diary? Yes. Pinching the tiny key between your thumb and finger, you go looking for the diary in the last place you saw it, in a box on the top shelf of your son's old bedroom. The diary is in the box, right on the top, a kind of miracle. You brush away the dust. The lock, like the key, has turned a little green. Do you unlock the diary? First we'll click on the description of the old bedroom. Nothing much has changed in this room, not yet, except for what's missing. Unfolded clothes stuffed in the dresser drawers, a few books from the shelf, the bedspread in a knot on the floor, and your son. The room isn't waiting... Okay, again, just checking that my mic was on. The room isn't waiting for him like it used to. After a few months, it's aired out. His bedroom no longer contains the ripe smell of him, the smell that you used to wash out of his sheets weekly. His bed, clean and empty, seems to take up more space now. But you're letting your mind wander. Return your attention to the diary. Yes. Do you lock the diary? Yes, we do. The key fits loosely in the keyhole. It takes a little jiggling, some gently applied strength, but the key turns, and the clasp holding the diary closed opens. Do you read the diary? Yes. You hold your breath as you turn back the cover. This feels wrong. Let's go there directly. Holding the diary in your hand, you waver, lose your nerve. Never mind. You lock the clasp and put everything back where you found it. Everything except the key, that is, which you put in your pocket and forget about and end up losing in the laundry. You'll have no secret glimpses into your son's past, ever. Sometimes when you let yourself think about the diary, what misery or joy might be locked away gnaws in the back of your brain. The end. Okay, so can we go back? Restart. Cancel. So save. Ooh, we could have saved at all those places. Now I know. Yeah, we'll restart. Let's go back. Oh, okay. Cool. I didn't realize there was a menu there. So, yes, we have time to find the diary. Yes, we unlock the diary. Yes, we read the diary. This was wrong. And yet, the spine creaks and the pages fall open to the middle. Blank. Flipping through the diary, you see the foxing around the page edges ebb and flow, but you come across no writing, not until you come to the first page. You recognize your son's handwriting. My mom got me this journal for some reason. You close the diary, lock it, put it back in the box, and put the box back on the top shelf of his closet. You feel like a fool, covering your tracks. What for? And yet you'll never admit to reading his diary. You drop the key back in the drawer to be buried again with the junk. The end. Oh, that's great. So restart? Yep. We'll restart. We'll click through that. Oh, I can tell that this developer has been writing for a while. We do not read the diary, no. Okay, so that's the same ending. Yeah. See, now I'm just like going through, plowing through these. Do you have time to find the diary? Yes. Do you unlock the diary? No. This is, again, a lose the nerve thing. So I guess if you say no at any time during this path, you are returned. You don't have time right now. You cram everything back inside and shut the junk drawer and go looking somewhere else for what you've lost. Better not to dwell on the junk of years past. The end. So that's if you don't have time to find things. I wonder if that's the default. Do you have time to look for this? No. Okay. Then we go back. And then, like for the diary, if you said no at any point in the process, it's like you lose your nerve. I wonder if there's going to be similar patterns everywhere else. A rubber band. You scramble the contents of the drawer looking for a rubber band. You find one. Rather, you find lots of rubber bands. Hundreds. maybe thousands of rubber bands all balled together. Do you try and peel one off? Yes. You hold the ball of rubber bands in your palm, the size of a fist, turning it round in search of the newest addition, the rubber band that's stretched over the top of all the others. How was this monstrosity birthed in your house? You know from experience, if you pull on the wrong band, you'll deform the rubber ball without getting what you're after. You might have found the top rubber band. Do you pull on it? Let's answer that first question. Your son used to sit at the table with a pile of rubber bands, adding them to the ball. I used to do stuff like this, stretching them around other rubber bands until the ball was a taut sphere. He'd take the rubber bands from the morning newspaper from anywhere he could find them, from around the bags of fresh celery and cartons of eggs in the fridge, from the bags of new rubber bands you bought just to have some on hand, and spend hours wrapping the ball at the end of a bad day. You could sit across from him, ask him what was wrong, how he felt, and he'd talk openly for as long as the pile of rubber bands lasted. Your mind's wandering, scratching the scabs of old memories. You need a rubber band in the here and now, remember? Yes. So yes, we pull on it. You start to pull on a rubber band, peeling it away from the ball. You hear the suck of stickiness, skin breaking from skin. Other rubber bands coming up with the one you were pulling. Do you keep going? Yeah. You keep pulling on the rubber band, peeling one rubber band from the others, or trying to. You pull too hard, or this rubber band has been stretched for too long and breaks. You feel a sting of backlash on your palm. Ball rolls from your hand, bounces across the floor, comes to rest underneath the kitchen table, where you leave it, to be swept up with the muffin crumbs, dust bunnies, and lost post-it notes, reminders all. Where you leave it. Hell with this, you just give up on the rubber band ball. It's a ball, singular, not bands, plural. Use one of your rubber hair ties instead, which you keep wrapped neatly but unimpressively around the bathroom doorknob. Yet you put the rubber band ball back in the junk drawer. You'll try again someday. And remember, kind of like that sacredness of, hey, you did the thing. This is a ball. Let's not try it. When I find the topper band, yes, we do not keep going. Okay, so that's the default one here. I bet we're going to get that same one when we say no to pulling on another rubber. Do you try and peel one off? No. Okay, no, this is you don't have time. Okay. Yeah, I was right. There was a pattern for what I say no on the other stuff, and this is our default one for if we say no to pursuing the memories. 2 AA batteries. You find AA batteries, AAA batteries, C batteries, and D flashlight batteries, energizers, Duracells, and several kinds of generic batteries. They roll like stones at the bottom of the drawer, the shaky foundations upon which the rest of this junk has been piled. Question is, do they have any juice left? Are they partially charged or brand new? There's no way to tell from the outside of a battery. Do you test a few? Let's see what this description is. Once, soon after you moved into this house, in this junk drawer's formative years, that's a great phrase, in this junk drawer's formative years, when it contained more potential than actual junk, you imposed a rule that fresh batteries be kept in their clear packaging. For a little while, you could always tell the new batteries from the used. Then your son reached the age when he started replacing the dead batteries in his toys himself, and his eagerness to return to his play, his focus on his spaceship, his light bright, his Wii remote, caused chaos in the drawer. New and used became indistinguishable. The monthly battery budget skyrocketed as a result. Even now, loose batteries are an irritant to you, and in your head, you're repeating the old lectures in your shrillest voice. Let it go. Not many things use these kinds of batteries anymore. Turn to the task at hand. Do you test a few? Yes. You put 2 AA batteries in your old Walkman. It's the only device left in the house that plays cassette tapes, and you have one you want to hear again, already loaded in the player. Do you push play? Yes. Grime has built up around the edges of the triangle molded into the play button. You press down with your thumb. Feel the head engage the magnetic tape. There are so few mechanical buttons to press these days. The slight resistance you feel, the sound of the button locking into place, is as much a walk down memory lane as the voice on the tape. The voice is slow, a pitch lower than it should be, yet sounds as if it's speaking from underwater. Keep listening. When he was 4 years old, you asked your son to describe the new house. He carried a cassette recorder in both hands as he walked from room to room, speaking into the microphone built into the machine. There's a certain squeal to his voice, age and excitement combining to lift his words to a pitch that, for you, imitated rocket fuel. Everything, even the stars, seemed in reach. But the tape couldn't hold the energy in his voice, or the Walkman motor is worn out, or the batteries from the junk drawer are mostly drained from juice. His voice sounds closer in pitch to what you hear on the phone when he calls home than to what it was, and as you listen, the pitch drops, muffles, and stops altogether. You push stop. Disengage the head from the tape. Push eject to open the Walkman door. Lift the cassette out of the deck. As you do, the tape unspools. The tape's been eaten. You'll spend the better part of an hour freeing the tape from the Walkman and using a pencil to turn the spool, gathering up the mangled tape. You only wanted to hear your son's voice, as it once was, when his whole world depended on you. Perhaps you should have known that such times can't be relived. Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to, say yes to that. We know if we say no, it'll give us the default. You don't have time. We'll say yes to this. Oops. Okay, so 2 yeses and then the no. That's what this one is. Yes. Yes. Press stop. You think better of playing the tape. The Walkman might as well be ancient, and the voice imprinted on the tape too precious to entrust to questionable batteries. It's your son's voice on the tape. Your son at 4 years old. You recorded him for posterity, so someday you'd be able to hear him again as he once was. But you didn't foresee the technology turning derelict. You'll have to remember him all on your own instead. Meh. Oh, goodness. All the feels. Yeah, and then no, I bet it's the same thing. Oh, there. Yes, it's the same thing. Okay. And then this one, and no, it'll give us our default. You don't have time. Okay. Let's go to the next one, everybody. Those coins from your trip abroad. There are dozens of coins in the junk drawer, perhaps scores of coins in the junk drawer. Tucked within the layers like treasure are fossils, falling to the bottom as you rummage like sunken treasure, are fossils growing more ancient, deeper down. You find a tiny fortune in coins, but from all over. Is it worth it to identify the coins you want? Yes. You made a point of traveling with your son, taking him out of his hometown, his state, his country, showing him as much of the world as possible. Each coin you pick out of the drawer and hold in your palm carries with it another memory from a different year. You wanted your son to have everything he wanted. Keep searching for a particular coin. You keep rummaging through the junk drawer, stacking more souvenir coins in your other hand until you find the one you want. A coin from the country your son lives in, studying abroad. A coin from halfway around the world. Why did you want this? What lay behind the strange craving to find this coin, to know its location, to hold it between your finger and thumb? You know the sentimental reasons, of course. Perhaps you also need to remind yourself of the part you played in growing the size of the world. To remember that distance and difference are two separate things. To try and close one or the other in the only silly way open to you. The end. Okay. And let's go back and say no to those. To them? Yes. Searching for a particular coin. Oh. See, there's just so much. This writing is so substantial that I forget. There's only 1 or 2 choices for each of these segments. You tip your hand and let the coins pour back into the junk drawer. Some strike hard surfaces and ring out, while some land silently on soft things. The reason you wanted to find a particular coin seems distant now, unimportant. Your memory sated for now, hunger satisfied. The coins will still be in the junk drawer the next time you feel a craving to remember. Come on. Okay. Then it should be the standard one of not enough time. Don't have time. Okay. Never mind. You don't have time right now. You cram everything back inside and shut the junk drawer and go looking somewhere else for what you've lost. Better not to dwell on the junk of years past. Okay, so that was the junk drawer, and I loved it. I can tell that this person has been writing for years and years. There were 2 small typos, but they weren't major in any way. I was too engaged in the story to even care. I love this so much. It's about memories. It's about wanting to go back, even if it's just in your mind, to points that are no longer attainable, and I love it. I love this, and the developer says that they're going to add sound and graphics, and I am so excited. I really hope that what I'm so excited about is this is a perfect example of a seedling of a game idea. And it's their first game, but they're bringing another skill to it that they've already polished, and they're planning on making it continuing on polishing it. I would absolutely love for this to be expanded into a larger game. I would pay it for it. I would play it. Just for the writing alone. But I'm also excited to see what happens when sound is added and when graphics are added. It's just so good. It's just so good. Yeah. I feel like on those last two, on the Walkman and... Well, not on the Walkman, on that last one, the coins, I don't think there was one where a link that you, like, clicked on, it took you to another description. I might have just missed it, but I don't think there was. So I think that's one easy expansion, right? Maybe, and this is just an idea. I'm not offended if you don't use my ideas. I just like going, what about this? What about this? Maybe you could have links to the past. So, like, you know, when on the batteries, when you link to it, is like, oh, and his desire for, like, to replace the batteries and get back to play, his eagerness to get back to play, he messed everything up. Well, maybe there's a link in there to take you back farther, and maybe you can all these options eventually converge onto, like, the moment, like, as the same moment of maybe, like, the kid being born, and then, like, branches back out to bring us to different paths back to the present. So the coins finding a way to travel back to the beginning of your son's life, and then finding a way to bring it back to the moment, like, you're interrupted by a call, it's your son, you know, the batteries, you get an email from your son or something. I don't know, but it feels like there's just so much potential, and especially since you're rummaging through a junk drawer, why not be rummaging through memories as you go back in time to find that moment, that nostalgia that you need to sate. You know, I think this was really effective. It's like, this is a visual novel. I don't expect the graphics or the sound to be of equal cloud, whereas the writing, since this is the first game and the writing has been done for years, but that doesn't mean that's not an excuse to not make sure they're effective, but also doesn't mean that they can't be effective. I think you're in tune enough with writing and with describing things that even simple graphics and simple sounds, if tweaked enough, you know, or at least make sure they're timed well, will enhance these emotions that are present in this game. But I'm excited to see where this goes, and I can't wait for more. And now, everyone, it's that time in the video where I tell you follow me on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Xbox, and WordPress. They all lead back to here. Eventually, hopefully, maybe September, definitely starting in October, I'll start streaming. You can, like, watch me on Twitch, so there's that to look forward to. But right now, YouTube's the best way to see me talk at you. So thanks again for watching, and thank you, developer, for this game. I enjoyed it. Until next time, Craelan out.